The Las Vegas Raiders will enter next season with Jimmy Garoppolo at the helm. Jimmy G and this offense will look to prove a lot of people wrong. Jimmy G will be working with all pros at receiver and running back in Davante Adams and Josh Jacobs, and he will also have former Pro Bowler as a slot receiver in Hunter Renfrow. He will also have two pass catchers who are already familiar with Coach Josh McDaniels' system in Jakobi Meyers and Philip Dorsett. In a pipe dream, Jimmy G might also have DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, the Bills, Patriots, Ravens, Raiders, and Falcons are set to be the 5 teams in on wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. This is according to Pac-Man Jones on the Pac McAfee show. Jimmy Garoppolo taking snaps with the Raiders will feel different for Las Vegas. He's replacing Derek Carr, who's been the Raiders starter since his rookie season in 2014. And Carr only missed 2 regular season game starts because of injury in his career. But Garoppolo is expected to give the Raiders offense, which was the NFL's number 12th ranked unit last season, number 11 in passing, number 7 in rushing, number 12 in scoring, not only a fresh start, but a jump start given Garoppolo's familiarity with McDaniels. And consider this, Jimmy Garoppolo's passer rating as a starter with McDaniels calling plays is 119 compared to Carr's 86.3. That is quite the difference. How's it going, everyone? It's Luca here, back with another video. In this one, I'm going to be talking about the Las Vegas Raiders and why they know exactly what they're doing. If you guys do me a favor, hit a like on the video. It does help the algorithm a ton. And please subscribe to the channel for more Raiders and NFL content. We're trying to hit 5K subs on this channel, guys. So if you can help me hit that, it would be greatly appreciated. So you look at Jimmy Garoppolo, not only is his passer rating much improved with McDaniels, but Garoppolo's career regular season record as a starter is actually an outstanding 40-17. And he has thrown for 14,289 yards and 87 touchdown passes with 42 interceptions, completing 67.6% of his passes in 74 games played. He's also played in 7 postseason games, going 4-2 as a starter, and he led the San Francisco 49ers to 2 NFC Championship games and a Super Bowl, which of course the Niners lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. But Garoppolo does have an injury history, which is something that you always got to hold your breath with. I mean, he did miss 30 games with the 49ers with various ankle, shoulder, thumb, and knee problems, and he did miss the Niners' last 5 games last season. Still, Jimmy Garoppolo had to pass a physical to sign his 3-year, $67.5 million free agency deal with the Las Vegas Raiders, so he should be ready to go. The Raiders' offense, it actually looks enticing. Even with former Pro Bowl tight end Darren Waller traded to the New York Giants for a 3rd-round draft pick, the Raiders have some really good offensive pieces, and not only that, but the Raiders are going to have 12 picks in next month's draft, so this team can cook up something special with their picks. And this is what the current starting lineup looks like for the Raiders at the moment. You got Garoppolo at the helm, Davante Adams, Myers, slot receiver Renfrow, Austin Hooper, who just signed with the Raiders on Wednesday, Jacobs, Colton Miller, Dylan Parham, Andre James, Jermaine Illuminar, and Brandon Parker. That's not bad at all. So I know I'm going on and on about how Jimmy G is familiar and comfortable playing with McDaniels, but it has been quite some time, 6 seasons actually, since Garoppolo and McDaniels were together back in New England, as Garoppolo was then shipped to the 49ers in a trade deadline move in 2017. Wow, does time ever fly? While the Las Vegas Raiders no longer have an immediate need at quarterback with Jimmy Garoppolo under contract, the Raiders could actually still turn to the NFL draft to find their QB of the future. And one name that has been tossed around is Florida's Anthony Richardson, who has gained steam after lighting it up at the Combine. But if Las Vegas wants to draft Richardson, who appears to be a lock to be selected in the top 5, they'll have to trade up to get him. And that's something that the Raiders might not want to do. That move would come with a great deal of risk. As you look at Richardson, he is far from a perfect prospect, and he would likely need a lot of time to develop before he's ready to start for this football team. Now, I do want to talk about a big-time pickup that the Raiders made that I think isn't getting enough credit, and in my opinion, It is the Raiders getting former Patriots wide receiver Jakobi Meyers. The Raiders are bringing in Meyers, who is still a #1 receiver in New England, and the Raiders were able to get a player like that at a very good price. PFF projected Meyers to get a deal that is worth $64 million. He ended up signing a 3-year deal for $33 million with the Raiders. So I thought that was a huge bargain deal for Las Vegas. And Meyers can do a whole lot for the Raiders, including making tough catches across the middle and in traffic. And he also has the flexibility to play on the outside and in the slot if he chooses to. And an underrated aspect of his game is his ability to block. He'll definitely be able to contribute in the run game as well. So it's hard not to get excited if you're a Raiders fan about his fit in this offense with the likes of Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow. So I really like that move for the Raiders, and this is what I'm going to say. I know there's a lot of Raiders fans who aren't necessarily optimistic about where this Raiders team is going, but I think they can actually surprise a lot of people, and they do have a chance to be dangerous. Yes, I'm using those words. They have a chance to be dangerous. Look, Jimmy G, I know he gets a ton of flack, and he might be the most criticized quarterback in the NFL, or one of them in my opinion. Jimmy G isn't a bad quarterback. I don't understand why people think he is terrible. Look at the numbers, look at the stats, look at the track record. He manages the game well, and he makes the right throws. I know you can credit it to the San Francisco 49ers having the perfect system and being a place where every QB succeeds and all that, but Jimmy G was still able to put up solid numbers and led the Niners to 2 NFC Championship games and the Super Bowl, and came close to winning the Super Bowl if it wasn't for the Niners collapsing against the Chiefs. So I believe in Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he is better than what a lot of people think, and I actually think the Raiders are going to be much better with Garoppolo at the helm, a guy who doesn't make as many mistakes as a Derek Carr. So I really liked this move for the Raiders when they brought in Jimmy G. Now, am I saying this Raiders team is going to win the division? No. Am I saying is this Raiders team going to win a Super Bowl? No. But this could be a potential dark horse in a loaded AFC, as the Raiders got the pieces on offense, they got a new quarterback, and if this team can continue to load up well with those draft picks that I talked about them having, they can have a very transformative draft, and that can further benefit this team. So I'm not quick to rule out the Raiders just yet. I think this team knows what they're doing in the grand scheme of things, and before we're quick to erase them from playoff talk and say they're going to be in the bottom of the division and they're going to be a terrible team, let's cut this team some slack and let's see what this team can do first before we are quick to judge them. So don't sleep on the Raiders. Raiders fans, are you excited about the future? Are you excited about the present? Do you agree with some of the takes that I made in this video, or do you disagree? Are you just in complete disagreement with what the Raiders are doing? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I read every single one of your comments. And yeah, that is it for today's video, guys. As always, thank you so much for your continued support. Keep it locked and loaded on Red Zone Rosano, all things football. Hit a like on the video and subscribe before you get out of here, and I'll catch you all again in the next one.